Hey there, West Michigan. Thanks for watching 13 Plus. I'm meteorologist Michael Behrens. It's going to be another snowy start to the week out there as we track our latest round of wintry weather that's going to make Monday morning's commute a little bit slippery. The temperatures out there, they are not going to change much from what we saw this afternoon. 32 all we made in Grand Rapids, 36 Muskegon, 34 in Holland. We were thinking those temperatures are going to get a little milder today, so did not hit our 3-degree guarantee. Told you 37 for the afternoon. Tomorrow expected to see similar temperatures to today. That's why 13 weather ball is lit up in green as no changes foreseen. View of the 13 weather ball sponsored by Countryside Greenhouse of Allendale. Temperatures as of about 10 o'clock, we're hanging around in the 30s and 20s out there. Good news is temperatures not going to drop all that cool as we head through tonight. In fact, we're only heading down toward the mid to upper 20s for those overnight lows, but wind chills will certainly be cooler than that. Winds out there around 5 to 10 miles per hour. They will stay in that range as we head through tonight before getting breezier as we head toward tomorrow. Speaking of the next 24 hours, snow starts to overspread the region in more consistent ways as we head through tonight and into the early part of the day tomorrow. That snowfall will become more scattered by the afternoon before eventually coming to an end. The snowfall again heaviest, unfortunately, just in time for that morning commute. So expect accumulating snow through tonight and about the first half of tomorrow. Any snow accumulation in the afternoon expected to be minimal. Tuesday will bring an end to the snow and slightly milder temperatures as we go up to a high of 35 for Tuesday afternoon. Because of the timing of this snowfall coinciding with the morning commute, National Weather Service has put a good chunk of West Michigan under a winter weather advisory. That's in place from now through about 1 p.m. Monday afternoon. Covers the majority of the counties in the 13-year side viewing area where a good 1 to 4 inches of snowfall with some locally higher totals will be possible by Monday morning. Looking at the snow as of Sunday evening, already seeing good bands had moved in across the region. Some of the heaviest was still over the lake, but overall the system not going to be done with us for a bit. The low pressure with it is still spinning over Wisconsin, so there's plenty of snow to get through between now and tomorrow morning before that snowfall finally comes to an end. Hour by hour forecast here, doing a good job tracking the heaviest band that starts to push on shore as we head past midnight tonight and continue to sort of linger around the region as we head throughout the day on Monday and into the first part of Monday morning and into the later part of the morning. The snow will start to dissipate, becoming more scattered by the afternoon and eventually coming to an end with only a few flakes left around as we head toward Monday night and a few areas along the lake shore that may get a little bit of extra lake effect snow, especially as you get down toward Van Buren and Berrien counties, possibly up toward Ludington as well. But most of us will be done with the snow as we head into early Tuesday with skies clearing Tuesday afternoon and then a pretty pleasant midweek forecast before rain enters the forecast as we head toward Thursday and unfortunately for part of your St. Patrick's Day. Snowfall totals out there from the system again expected to be 1 to 4 across the region. The heart of the heaviest snowfall is really going to come through Oceana, Muskegon, Ottawa County and down toward the south and east where we're expecting a fairly thick band to set up. You may see a decent change in snowfall totals across this region again as some people miss that heaviest band and others kind of get stuck under it, and that's where we have that possibility of some that may see a little bit more than that 4-inch snowfall. Temperatures out there tomorrow going to keep the snow around through the afternoon as we only get toward the low 30s, even kind of mid 30s at the warmest along the lakeshore with those breezy conditions in place. We'll see temperatures in the 20s and low 30s for our northern zones with temperatures that will be hanging around 33 in Grand Rapids, 34 in Kalamazoo. 13 on your side, 10-day outlook. Temperatures stay in the 30s for the start of the week, but the 40s will return as we head toward Wednesday. Temperatures rise through the 40s as we get toward St. Patrick's Day, but that high temperature on St. Patty's Day only going to happen early in the day. Temperatures falling throughout most of the afternoon, so it's not going to be very enjoyable by the time we get toward Friday evening. Temperatures on Saturday only in the low 30s as more snow enters the forecast before a quiet pattern takes us through next week as temperatures start to warm up once again. Out west, the latest round of severe weather is set to hit California, with officials urging people to evacuate in parts of the state after a series of unrelenting storms is leading to the threat of more flooding, landslides, and mudslides. President Biden spoke with Governor Gavin Newsom Saturday, saying that the state has the full support of the federal government as an emergency has been declared there. And now, with more rain in the forecast, 16 million people are under flood alerts in California and Nevada. ABC News' Leno Moise has the latest.
Floodwater flowing like a fast-moving river in the town of Watsonville in Northern California, near where there was a 100-foot wide breach in a levee on the Pajaro River.
The city of Pajaro, or the community of Pajaro, is flooded.
Cars halfway submerged as water fills the streets. The levee broke overnight, stranding some drivers. The California National Guard helping first responders pull them to safety. The Monterey County Sheriff says they've had to conduct more than 90 rescues.
We've done 15 to 20 rescues by boat. We even rescued a man floating down one of the areas in a tube with his pet on top of him.
Authorities are urging about 8,500 people to evacuate. 11 so-called atmospheric rivers hit the west this winter. More than a foot of rain has fallen in the past week. All of the rain triggering this rock slide in Big Sur, forcing portions of Highway 1 to close. In higher elevations, it's been the snow. Lake Tahoe getting 32 inches since Thursday.
People who have been here for a very long time have said this is more snow than they've ever seen.
In South Lake Tahoe, the rain is falling on top of a massive snowpack. That same system expected to trigger severe weather across parts of the south before moving into the northeast.
That'll trigger a storm along the coast for Monday, Tuesday along I-95. A nor'easter developing here, mostly a wet snow and rain along I-95, but another heavy wet snow event with high accumulations inland.
Meanwhile, parts of the Great Lakes and the Northeast are already being hit with a different storm system. Lionel Moise, ABC News, New York.
Many around West Michigan, if not already out on spring break, are making plans to head out soon, and Florida remains an ever-popular destination. However, in parts of the Sunshine State, something fishy is making the trip a bit unpleasant. Miguel Octavio from our sister station 10 Tampa Bay reports.
The shores of Lido Beach are full of guests, but some aren't welcome here.
It smells. It's fishy.
You can't enjoy the water without catching a whiff of the stinky stench. Dead and grotesque looking fish, an eyesore compared to an otherwise picturesque scene from the beach.
I heard about it as on the flight, like, oh, Mom, what's red tide?
Red tide is affecting beaches as far south as Sarasota and far north as Clearwater. The new FWC map full of red and orange dots, those mean medium to high levels of concentration. And one red tide expert we spoke with says they're detecting higher levels of chlorophyll, meaning the red tide might not be going away anytime soon.
Chlorophyll is indicative of plant life, kind of assuming right now it is indicative of red tide organisms.
But ask these spring breakers, and they don't mind.
When we left, it was snowing. We were getting 2 to 6 inches of snow.
All on vacation we spoke with are willing to trade the snow for sand.
There's a lot to do in the Sarasota area.
Even if it comes with an unexpected cost to their trip.
So a big contrast. We had about 3 feet of snow last week up there.
Those like Guy Nelson of Minnesota just focused on what he came here for. Time with his daughter.
Won't let it. If I can see her and be here, this doesn't bother me.
In Sarasota, Miguel Octavio, 10 Tampa Bay.
Sponsored by the Power of Poison exhibit at the Grand Rapids Public Museum.
Finally tonight, we are all likely to be heading to bed a little bit early, despite the Oscars being on late, thus the tuxedo here. But the reason for that is not the show, it's the hour of sleep that we lost last night, thanks to daylight saving time. But have you ever wondered why we even bother with this practice? Well, I put together this next story to explain why. If you're anything like me, this morning isn't the best because you're waking up tired, kind of with a dragging feeling, and it's because you lost an hour of sleep last night to daylight saving time. Also, if you're like me, you're looking for someone to blame. So who can we point the finger at for the reason why we have to move our clocks? Well, many people blame Benjamin Franklin. And while there is some truth to this, as he did write about the concept of changing the clocks to follow the sun, this was more tongue-in-cheek than anything else. He just wanted his day to follow the sun instead of the clock. So if he can't take the blame, who's next in line? Many people talk about farmers when they talk about the reason for daylight saving time, but guess what? They wanted nothing to do with it either. Just because you move the clocks, it doesn't change when animals are ready to go through their daily routines, what part of the day you can harvest the crops during, or when the workers need to be in the fields. All moving the clocks really did is put their schedules in a bind, especially when it came to when you had to take crops and produce to the markets. So if it's not the farmers and it's not Ben Franklin, who is to blame for this clock change? Well, like many things in the last 100 years, it goes back to the World Wars. World War I and World War II, the idea was that you could save resources by moving workers' hours to align with the daylight hours. That meant you didn't have to burn so many electric lights, fuel for lighting, or fuel for heating. Another fact to throw in here, this savings doesn't exist anymore because everything in modern life has air conditioning, and when workers are at work, when the sun is blaring in the sky, you're burning more fuel to run those air conditioners. Even after the war, though, we didn't have a consistent daylight saving time until 1966. That's when the Uniform Time Act was passed by Congress, and even then, it didn't settle the debate. Here in Michigan, we decided we weren't going to bother with daylight saving time in 1967, and that was the case until 1973 when we started observing daylight saving time once again. Well, now that you're up to date on the latest news and weather headlines from around the country, you can always find more online at 13onyourside.com or by downloading the 13 On Your Side news and weather apps. For now, thanks for watching 13 Plus. I'm meteorologist Michael Behrens.